My best friend made me wear a $400 bridesmaid dress that made me look like a swamp monster. I found out why she really wanted me there, and I made sure everyone else did too at her wedding. I should have known something was wrong when Jessica asked me to be her maid of honor. We'd been friends since college, or at least I thought we were friends. Looking back now, I can see all the little signs I missed. The way she'd always forget to invite me to certain events. How she'd cancel our plans last minute, but then post Instagram stories at brunch with other people. The subtle digs disguised as concern. Like, are you sure you want to wear that? I mean, it's your body, but... But when she got engaged to Marcus, and she asked me to stand beside her on her big day, tears in her eyes, telling me I was like a sister to her, I pushed all those doubts aside. I was genuinely happy for her. Marcus seemed like a great guy, successful, charming, came from old money. They'd been dating for 2 years, and honestly, they seemed perfect together. The first red flag should have been the bridesmaid dress appointment. Jessica had chosen this boutique in the city, the kind of place where they buzz you in and offer you champagne in crystal flutes. There were 5 of us bridesmaids total, me as maid of honor, her 2 cousins, and 2 girls from her sorority days. When we walked in, Jessica was already there, practically vibrating with excitement. "Girls," she squealed, hugging each of us. "I found the perfect dresses. You're going to die." She wasn't wrong about the dying part. The consultant brought out these dresses, and I swear, my stomach dropped. They were this murky greenish-brown color. Jessica called it moss sage, with puffy sleeves, a high ruffled neckline that would make anyone look like they had no neck, and a drop waist that would emphasize every possible wrong area. They looked like something from a Victorian nightmare. "Jess," her cousin Amber said carefully, "are you sure about this color? It's a little unique." Jessica finished, her smile sharp. "That's exactly what I'm going for. I want my wedding to be unforgettable. Besides, the color will look amazing in photos against the garden venue." The price tag was $400. $400 for a dress I would never, ever wear again. A dress that looked like it was specifically designed to make the wearer look as unattractive as possible. "And wait until you see my dress," Jessica said, pulling out her phone. She showed us a photo of this absolutely stunning Vera Wang gown, off the shoulder, fitted, with delicate lace details and a cathedral train. It probably cost more than my car. The contrast wasn't lost on any of us. But what could we say? It was her wedding. We all ordered our dresses. What choice did we have? As maid of honor, I was also expected to help plan the bachelorette party, the bridal shower, and coordinate with vendors. Over the next few months, I spent countless hours and hundreds more dollars on Jessica's wedding. But I started noticing things. Jessica would sometimes text me late at night, asking weirdly specific questions. "Did your brother ever mention what college Marcus's brother went to? Or, does your brother still go to that gym on 5th Street? My brother, Dylan, was a graphic designer, single, attractive in that effortless way some guys just are. Jessica had met him a handful of times at my family gatherings. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe she was just making conversation or trying to set him up with someone. Then came the bridal shower incident. I'd organized this beautiful garden party at my parents' house. We'd done everything right. The decorations, the catering, the games. About halfway through, Jessica pulled me aside. "Is Dylan here?" she asked, looking around. "No, Jess. It's a bridal shower. It's just women." Her face fell for just a second before she recovered. "Right, of course. I just thought, never mind. Could you call him, though? I need to ask him something about the design for my wedding website." "Now? In the middle of your shower? Please? It's important." It was weird, but I called him. He didn't answer. Jessica looked genuinely upset. The weirdness continued. Jessica started asking me to meet up at odd places. Coffee shops near Dylan's apartment, restaurants he'd mentioned liking. Once, she accidentally showed up at my place when Dylan was visiting for dinner. She'd brought her wedding binder and insisted on going through seating charts, but I noticed how she kept angling herself toward him, laughing too loud at his jokes, touching her hair constantly. I told myself I was being paranoid. She was just being friendly. She was about to marry Marcus. Dylan was my brother.
Nothing was going on.
Then I found the first text. It was about 6 weeks before the wedding. Jessica had asked me to look at her phone to check the time for our spa appointment. Her hands were wet from washing them. When I picked it up, a notification popped up. Not the content, just a preview. Dylan, I can't stop thinking about last night. My blood ran cold. What does it say? Jessica called from the bathroom. It's 2:15, I said, my voice somehow steady. We should go. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think.
Dylan?
My Dylan?
And Jessica?
It had to be a different Dylan. It had to be. But I knew it wasn't. Over the next week, I became someone I didn't recognize. I checked Jessica's social media obsessively. I started paying attention to Dylan's schedule, his moods. And I noticed things that, once seen, couldn't be unseen. Dylan had been distant lately. Secretive. He'd gotten a haircut, bought new clothes. He was going out more, but being vague about where. And he'd asked about Jessica, casual questions, but still. How's the wedding planning going? Is Jessica stressed? When's the actual date again? I felt sick. I needed proof. Real proof. So I did something I'm not proud of. I told Jessica I needed to borrow her backup phone charger. She always had one in her purse. And while she was in the dressing room trying on shapewear for her wedding dress, I went through her messages. There it was. Months of messages. Starting from about 8 months ago, right after one of my family dinners. It had started innocuously enough. Jessica asking Dylan for design help for her wedding website, which I vaguely remembered. But then the messages changed. Became more frequent. More personal. Compliments about his work. Then compliments about his looks. Then meetings for coffee to discuss the website. Then meetings that weren't about the website at all. I read everything. Every message made me feel sicker. They'd been seeing each other for 7 months. 7 months of lying. To me, to Marcus, to everyone. The messages were explicit. They talked about their connection. About how what they had was real, unlike Jessica's relationship with Marcus. Dylan called her beautiful, exciting, dangerous. Jessica talked about how she needed to go through with the wedding for her family for the money, but that she and Dylan would figure something out after. There were photos. I couldn't look at them. I couldn't. But what made it all so much worse was reading the messages about me. Your sister is so clueless, Jessica had written. She still thinks we're best friends. It's actually kind of sad. Dylan had responded. She sees the best in everyone. Always has. It's why this has been so easy.
Easy.
Betraying me had been easy for both of them. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the phone. Instead, I carefully screenshotted everything, every message, every photo, every piece of evidence. I sent them all to my own email, deleted the sent messages from her account, and put her phone back exactly where I found it. When Jessica came out of the dressing room, I was sitting there with a smile on my face. Ready to go? I asked sweetly. For the next 4 weeks, I played the perfect maid of honor. I responded to every Bridezilla text with enthusiasm. I attended every fitting in that hideous dress. I organized the bachelorette party, a weekend in Vegas that cost me another $800. I smiled until my face hurt. And I planned. I thought about telling Marcus immediately. But I realized something Jessica wanted out of this marriage anyway. Telling Marcus would just give her what she wanted. She'd get to play the victim, claim she fell in love with someone else, and walk away looking like the romantic lead in her own movie.
No.
I wanted her to have everything she said she wanted. The wedding. The photos. The status. And then I wanted to take it all away. I did tell one person, my mom. I had to. I needed help, and I needed someone to stop me if I was going too far. When I showed her the screenshots, she cried. Then she got angry. Then she got strategic. You're sure you want to do this? She asked. Once you do, there's no taking it back. She called me clueless, Mom. She made me spend hundreds of dollars to look ridiculous at her wedding, so she could look better in comparison. All while she was sleeping with Dylan. And Dylan. I couldn't even finish. Your brother is going to have to answer for this too, Mom said firmly. But Jessica, what she's doing to Marcus is cruel. He deserves to know what he's walking into. We came up with a plan. The week before the wedding, I called Marcus's brother, Ryan. We chatted a few times at engagement parties. He was Marcus's best man, seemed like a good guy. Asked if we could meet for coffee to coordinate some last-minute wedding stuff. Over coffee, I didn't dance around it. I need to show you something, I said. But I need you to promise me you won't tell Marcus until the wedding day.
What?
Why would I? I showed him a few of the screenshots. His face went pale. This is Jessica? With your brother? There's more. A lot more. 7 months worth. Ryan looked like he might be sick. We have to tell Marcus. Right now. If we tell him now, she'll just spin it. She'll make herself the victim. Marcus won't believe it. Or worse, he'll forgive her, and they'll get married anyway. Or they'll cancel and she'll claim Marcus was controlling or abusive or something to save face. Everyone will still take her side. So, what do you want to do? I want her to have her perfect wedding day. Right up until the moment I give my maid of honor toast. Ryan stared at me. Then slowly he smiled. You're devious. She made me buy a $400 dress that makes me look like a swamp monster, I said. This is mercy. We coordinated. Ryan would make sure Marcus saw the evidence after the toast. He'd have it loaded on a tablet, ready to go. He'd keep Marcus calm until then. We'd also loop in the wedding photographer and videographer, making sure everything was being recorded. The wedding day arrived. I got up that morning and put on that hideous moss sage dress. I did my hair. I painted on a smile. I went to the venue, a gorgeous garden estate, and helped Jessica into her stunning Vera Wang gown. You look beautiful, I told her, and she did. She looked like a princess. Thank you, she said, actually tearing up. For everything. For being here. You're my best friend, you know that? I know, I said. The ceremony was beautiful. Marcus looked at Jessica like she hung the moon. His vows were heartfelt and genuine. Jessica's were. Well, she'd always been a good actress. Dylan was there, sitting in the back, looking uncomfortable in his suit. He couldn't even meet my eyes. At the reception, I played my part. I bustled around, making sure everything ran smoothly. I posed for photos in that awful dress. I danced. I mingled. And then came the toasts. Ryan went first as best man. He kept it short and sweet, funny stories about Marcus, warm wishes for the couple. Standard stuff. Then it was my turn. I stood up, champagne glass in hand. The room quieted. Jessica beamed at me from the head table, radiant in her designer gown. Hi everyone, I started. For those who don't know me, I'm the maid of honor, and I've had the privilege of being Jessica's best friend for 8 years. Smiles around the room. Jessica dabbed at her eyes. Jessica asked me to stand by her side today, and I want to thank her for that. Really. Because it gave me such insight into who she really is. My smile didn't waver. When she asked me to be her maid of honor, she told me I was like a sister to her. And I believed her. Jessica's smile faltered just slightly. And, Jessica has been so thoughtful through this whole process. Like these bridesmaid dresses. I gestured to my outfit, getting a few sympathetic laughs. She chose a color she said would make her dress really pop in photos. And she was right. We look absolutely terrible, and she looks absolutely stunning. That takes real planning. More laughs, though some sounded uncomfortable now. Jessica's smile was frozen. But the thing that really shows who Jessica is? It's her dedication. 7 months ago, she committed to something. Not just planning this beautiful wedding, though she did that too. No, 7 months ago, Jessica committed to a secret relationship with my brother, Dylan. The room went dead silent. Dylan, stand up, I said. In the back, my brother half rose from his seat, his face white. There he is. Good-looking guy, right? Jessica thought so. In fact, I pulled out my phone. She told him he was, quote, the most exciting thing that's ever happened to her, unquote. This was 3 months ago, while she was actively planning her wedding to Marcus. Jessica stood up. What are you?
Sit down, Jess.
I'm not done with my toast. My voice was steel. She sat. Now I know what you're all thinking. Maybe I'm just a jealous bridesmaid. Maybe I'm making this up. So, I brought evidence. I gestured to Ryan, who wheeled out a laptop connected to the venue's projection screen. I thought we could all take a look together. Stop this right now. Jessica shrieked, but it was too late. The messages started displaying on the screen. Not the explicit ones, I had some decency, but enough. Screenshots of them planning meetups, calling each other pet names, Jessica complaining about having to put on a show with Marcus. The room erupted. Marcus stood up, his face a mixture of shock and devastation. Jessica's mother started crying. My parents sat stone-faced. They'd known this was coming. The thing is, I continued over the chaos. Jessica made me spend over $1,500 to be in this wedding. Made me organize parties. Made me run errands. Made me wear this dress that makes me look like Swamp Thing. All while she was sleeping with my brother and laughing about how clueless I was. I turned to Marcus. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But I couldn't let you marry her without knowing. You deserve someone who actually loves you. Then I turned back to Jessica. She was crying, mascara running, no longer beautiful. Jessica, I really do want to thank you, I said. You've taught me that some people will smile to your face while betraying you behind your back. That some people see kindness as weakness. And that sometimes the prettiest package contains the ugliest thing inside. I raised my glass. So, here's to you, Jessica. May you get everything you deserve. I drank my champagne and walked out. Behind me, the reception descended into chaos. I heard Jessica screaming, heard Marcus's raised voice, heard my mother telling Dylan to get in the car right now. But I kept walking. 3 hours later, I was home in sweatpants when my phone started blowing up. The wedding had been officially called off. Marcus had left. Jessica was claiming I'd doctored the screenshots. I hadn't. Ryan had shown Marcus the raw message data from her phone backup, which he'd gotten access to that morning with a very convenient, let me borrow your phone to check something ruse. Jessica tried to sue me for emotional distress. Her lawyer laughed and told her she had no case. Dylan moved out of state. We haven't spoken. Maybe someday we will, but not today. The best part? Jessica's cousin Amber, one of the other bridesmaids, told me that after everything settled, she and Marcus started talking. They went on a date a few months later. Last I heard, they're pretty serious. Turns out there's someone who actually deserves Marcus, and she was in one of those ugly dresses too. As for the dress, I actually wore it again. To a Halloween party. I went as the creature from the Bridal Lagoon. One best costume. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting angry. It's about timing. It's about making sure that the person who tried to make you look ridiculous gets exposed at the exact moment they think they've won. And honestly, best $1,500 I ever spent. Update, since people keep asking, yes, Jessica tried to spin this on social media. She posted some vague stuff about fake friends and betrayal. But here's the thing, about 50 people saw that toast live and multiple people filmed it. The truth got out way faster than her lies could spread. Her friends from the wedding? Half of them reached out to me to apologize for not seeing through her sooner. And Marcus? He sent me a thank you card. Said I saved him from making the biggest mistake of his life. He and Amber are engaged now. I'm invited to their wedding. I promise to wear a beautiful dress this time. As for whether I regret it, not for a single second. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Jessica played the game like a champion. And she won exactly what she deserved.